And so then in verse 6, when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And so Jesus spat on the ground, and he took the ground, and he molded it into clay, and then he put it on this man's eyes, right? So that's like a visual representation of what Jesus did. And so he actually did a work. He didn't just say, be healed. He actually did a work to his eyes to heal them. And then Jesus said in verse 7 unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed, and came seeing. And so he went to this pool of Siloam, which is being interpreted as sent, pool of sent. So he sent him to this pool, which is very kind of ironic, right? And he went and washed his eyes, and he came back, and he saw. So Jesus anointed this clay on his eyes, and when he washed, he opened his eyes and saw, and he's never seen before, which is crazy to think about what that actually would be like to never see, and all of a sudden see, and how much, like, I guess you could say, overstimulation that he would be experiencing at that time. So then in verse 8, the neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? And so the people around that saw this said, This is the same man that sat and begged and was born blind. How is he seeing? Right? They're questioning what's going on here. And as I said, this was not done in private. Everyone saw that this man, they knew this man to be born blind, and they saw him seeing. So everyone's very confused here, right? Then in verse 9, some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him. But he said, I am he. And so they're questioning and having disputings. But he straight up just says, I am he. So he's claiming to be this man who was born blind. So then in verse 10, Therefore said they unto him, How were thine eyes opened? So they're questioning here. Then he answered in verse 11, A man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Then said in verse 12, Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. And so they're questioning him here, and he says exactly what happened. He said that Jesus was the one who did it. And so they're asking, like, where is he? Because they're going to go question Jesus. And then he says, I don't know, but I know that I can see, right?